keep everything in the spirit of not boring you with mundane video, I've already rough ground the excessive amount that I put on there to make sure I had enough. I've now pre-fitted the headlight door in. It looks like this distance is going to be good, so I'm going to put a smooth coat around the corner, and then I'll be able to start working this area, because once I do this, I've sealed up the back side of this hole to where it'll be much more difficult, while doable, much more difficult to put the backing plate on the hinge panel. So we're going to get that done and start working our way forward. Here's my plan for trying to get the shape. I've got my grid marked out. On this side, and got it here on this side. And this shows that it's going to be pretty close. All I need is close. If I get it close, I can handle it the rest. So that's where we're at to this point. Moving on. And these Harbor Freight contour gauges that I picked up are actually working quite well, but they tend to move easily, which is not a bad thing when making it, but it's kind of bad when trying to duplicate it. So I've taken a piece of masking tape and run along the fingers to kind of hold them in place. I have 3 of the gauges, so I can alternate between them. I got 3 of the places there, and I'll change them as needed. We're back here on this, and as I mentioned in the other video, I have changed my mind. Went from the aluminum to the fiberglass on the backing plate here. I've got the contours from the other side. Mostly what I'm looking for here is to make sure that there's sufficient space underneath so that I got room to fill everything up and get the contour and shape that I want. I'll prep the surfaces, put in a bunch of glue, start the process. And another little tidbit here, the space is really cramped in that opening, so I put a 90-degree fitting on my air connection and left it loose so I can swivel that thing around, and it helps me get into the nooks and crannies. What I'm doing here is preloading a lot of the bonding material This is a combination of short strand fiberglass putty, and I've mixed with extra resin to give it something to soak into, and if necessary a little bit of talc to control the runniness. This is what I use to screw the piece of bonding material in, and I don't want to screw it down super hard because I do want some of the bonding material to remain between the two panels. And here's something I've learned over the years. As the material's starting to set up, the bonding material, I take and wiggle the screws and kind of break the connection that is between them. Makes it a whole lot easier to get the screws out. And here's a bit of the view underneath. Got the bonding strips nicely put in. I've worked that point there on the front of the fender where everything was really shattered, and made sure plenty of resin's in there. What I've done here with the blue tape is I've covered up that seam connection that the rubber molding goes over to protect it from all the resin and everything. I want to make that stay the same so I don't have to spend a lot of time reshaping it. And here's what we've all been waiting for. It's time to fill in that big gaping hole. So while the resin is drying, the fender has a shallow valley, I guess, put in it that tapers, and I've been thinking about what to do. So I've taken this round bar, super glued some wood paint paddles to it, put some wax paper over it so it won't stick, and I'm going to lay some fiberglass on this and try to make me a tapered channel. We'll see how it works out. It looks a little gnarly, but I got plenty of material here I can shape down using my contour gauges. This area in here, which has a dip, is what I was making, hopefully. There. I glued a couple of paint sticks at an angle so that it tapers. More curve here than here. When that sets up, I'll see how it fits in the opening. And that should get me close enough that I can hand form the rest and get it there. So I think that this obviously has to dry, and that maybe one more day of gluing and I won't have any openings. At the most 2. So once again, thanks for watching. We'll catch you on the next video.